Hello, my name is Kim Kirkbride, and I'm the Assistant Director of the New River Land Trust. We are a local nonprofit land trust that was founded in 2002, and in that time, we have helped to protect more than 55,000 acres in the New River region. Mostly, we've done this work by helping private landowners connect to agencies that hold conservation easements on private lands. We also do some public land work as well, but mostly we work with landowners to help them protect their private land. If you're watching this video, there's a good chance that you received a postcard in the mail recently from us, and this presentation will explain more about that opportunity. The Appalachian Trail Conservancy is another nonprofit conservation agency, and their mission is to protect, manage, and advocate for the Appalachian National Scenic Trail, which is also known more familiarly as the Appalachian Trail. This organization was formed in 1925, about the time that the trail was created, and was originally called the Appalachian Trail Conference, but later in 2005 changed its name to Appalachian Trail Conservancy to reflect their top priority of protecting the trail and the landscape around it. So in talking about land conservation, we'd like to talk a little bit about why we do this. Residential development is the primary driver of land use change in the United States. That means that selling land, subdividing it, and putting houses on it, whether it's just a small rural lane with a few houses or a subdivision neighborhood, those are all the major reasons that farmland is converted and lost in the United States. Oftentimes, this growth is unplanned, it's piecemeal. No one is making big decisions about what is happening to our land. And things are lost as these new developments are built. What are some of the things that are lost? Just quickly to name a few: scenery, agricultural soils, habitat, working forests, which are a source of timber. Those are just a few things, and we'll talk about more in a minute. Conservation values are what land conservationists aim to protect. So these are things like working land, whether it's a farm or a forest, water, streams, springs, rivers, wetlands, lakes in places where they are common, agricultural soils. As I mentioned, soils are often lost when housing developments are built and they can never be replaced. Karst geology, which is what we have in the New River region. These are limestone formations that are prone to having sinkholes and caves. These are very important to water quality because water flows through those holes in the limestone, and we need to protect those features so that we can protect the water that flows through them. Habitat for endangered or rare species. And then there are human reasons too. Maybe it's a historic area with cultural significance, or it's just a scenic drive and we really want to protect that beautiful view. And ultimately, all this contributes to a sense of place and community. A community can change a lot when houses start being developed in the area, and things that people remember sometimes are forgotten. So back to the opportunity at hand, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy is spearheading an initiative called the Appalachian Trail Landscape Partnership. And the mission of the ATLP is to connect the wild, scenic, and cultural wonders of the Appalachian Trail and its surrounding landscape. This is the key part of the ATLP. It's seeking to protect the landscape around the trail, not just the footpath itself. The partnership is between the Appalachian Trail Conservancy and other local conservation partners like us, the New River Land Trust. The ATLP is working to protect the beautiful scenery that is visible from the trail to preserve that trail experience. The ATLP has funding to purchase conservation easements from landowners that have land within the viewshed of the Appalachian Trail, meaning, is your property visible from an overlook? Is it adjacent to the trail? If you received a postcard in the mail, we think your property could be a candidate for a purchased conservation easement. This means that you could be paid to keep your property as a working farm or forest by agreeing to restrict your property with a conservation easement. So what is a conservation easement? It is a voluntary but binding legal agreement. It has a deed. The landowner and the land trust agree to the upper limits of development for the property. The deed of easement will name the conservation values of the property and the specific development restrictions that protect those conservation values. The land trust is obligated to protect the conservation values found on the property by occasional monitoring to ensure compliance with the easement deed, and as an absolute last resort, legal action if there was a violation of the deed. One thing to know is that the easement stays with the land forever. It does not change with future owners. So if you sell, transfer, inherit the land, the easement still stands with the land. It cannot be changed. The daily uses of the land are determined by the current landowner, as long as they comply with the broad strokes of an easement deed. That's why we say that an easement deed just determines the upper limits of development for the property. We don't say exactly what you have to do with your property. So how does this deal work? Most conservation easements are donated by the landowner, who receives tax credits for the charitable donation. Much less common is a purchased conservation easement. This means that the landowner is paid for the value of their conservation easement. So this opportunity that we have approached certain people around the trail for, that's a rare opportunity to actually have funding to pay for a conservation easement. The easement value and the sale price of the easement is determined by a special appraisal that is done by a qualified land conservation appraiser. The sale of the easement might pay for all or a portion of the easement value. If only a portion is purchased, then the remainder value can be donated and then becomes eligible for tax credits. There's a lot to know about a conservation easement deal, and we certainly encourage you to reach out to us if you're interested in learning more. We can talk about your property specifics. We can tell you more about how this opportunity could work. So please reach out to us if you have questions or are curious about learning more. Again, my name is Kim Kirkbride. I'm the Assistant Director of the New River Land Trust. I'm working on this project with the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, and I would love to talk to you more about your land. You can reach me at conservation@newriverlandtrust.org or the office phone number listed here. You can also go to the Appalachian Trail website to learn more about the Landscape Partnership. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We really appreciate your time and look forward to hearing from you.